No one gives a damn about the monster-in-law, the mother-in-law who's a bitch. It's like, she's just that way. Because she just, she lost her little boy. She can't let him go. You have that as a reason, but a very common reason is because her son is being treated like crap and he's in a toxic relationship. And she can't stand seeing her son being treated like absolute garbage. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. You've seen it, family members, friends, of a man that's just in a toxic relationship. And he provides really well for her. And it's to the point where she couldn't afford those things, that lifestyle that she wants on her own, but he's still trash. He still ain't good enough. And a lot of this comes from this pop feminism that men are just trash overall. Even the man you chose to, let's say, be your husband, boyfriend, fiance, your partner, and he does a lot for the family, for the kids, for you. It's not just about finances. It's about he just does really well when it comes to providing, as he should, being a goddamn adult. So that still is not good enough, because a man is just still, it's okay to demean him in public. It's okay to tell him to shut up every now and then in public. It's okay to, when he's not in the room, just talk about all sorts of bad things about him. Why are you doing this? Why are you degrading him so much, right? The animosity, the toxicity. And then you look at the mother-in-law, his mother, who loves him, of course, as she should, who took care of him since he was in diapers, and now he's a grown man. And she, think about this, helped to instill those values on him to provide for your ungrateful ass. And you're crapping on her values. She helped shape him into the man he is today, the good man he is today, who takes care of business, who takes care of you, and you're shitting on all of that she actually, her lessons, for example. So I'm thinking about, you see the crib in the background, and where I'm going to go with this as a parent. And you don't really see men who are the monster father-in-laws, because men do have a problem. We have a problem, we do overall, of being kind of walled off for our emotions. I'm very invested in my son's life, and I'm teaching him to be a good man. I know he's young, okay, but the point is that, well, he's a toddler now. I'll tell you that fact. But the point is that I am taking the time to instill on him good values, to be a good person. And this whole thing about, okay, well, once he becomes a certain age, okay, parents, step back and get away. You got to get, basically F off. And you've heard that before when women get mad, like, well, mama's boy, or even rarely daddy's boy, your dad's taking care of your business, but you never stop being a parent, right? And if it gets to the point where your son is getting treated just, and you know what I'm talking about, just toxic, because you've seen family members in these relationships, you've seen friends, and maybe you were at one point. Hopefully you're not now. And this is your son. And you're supposed to, okay, well, he's of a certain age now. That doesn't mean anything. I get what they're trying to say, but don't gaslight me into just being walled off for my son. Who are you, right? And I've heard women say this, well, I'm his wife. I'm his parent. We were really trying to argue about who has more emotional weight. It's not a competition, but are you kidding me? But have it where, and this is the saddest part, because women who are like this, who are very controlling and domineering to men, if they have sons, they're teaching their sons to be very submissive, to not be able to stand up for themselves, especially around women. So it's going to be a cycle, and then she's going to be the monster-in-law. And yes, that's another reason, is you can have a woman that is used to being very toxic to men, that is used to being very, again, where you're very just emotionally toxic, domineering, demeaning, degrading. What's another D? But then you have to think, what does that have on, what effects does it have on your son, if you have a son? Well, I'm going to tell you, he is not going to be confident about women. He's going to actually normalize that and think, okay, well, dad accepts that, so I should accept that too. This is normal. And then it's going to drive her crazy, because this is still the type of woman that's very outspoken. And I like that, when you're very outspoken, right? But then, so you're not going to take that crap. So then you're going to see your son, and it's going to drive you crazy. Like, why is he like that? Why? Because you instilled those values onto your son. That's why. To not be able to really stand up for himself around women because of how you were with his father. So Honestly, there were two origin stories there, wasn't there? But one of the common ones is that it's like you have to understand, try to walk even a baby step or two as a habit if you're so apathetic in somebody's shoes. We don't even want to do that. That old saying, walk a mile, it's like people don't even want to walk a baby step in somebody else's shoes. Like, taking the time to talk to people to understand why the way they are. And again, you might be saying, well, I've had plenty of conversations. My mother-in-law is terrible, and I can tell you why. Okay, then. Okay. But I'm saying a common reason that's not talked about enough is that it can be a good reason that maybe you are, or you're seeing your mother-in-law act out because she can't take it anymore. You just, you're just terrible to her. Shout out to the moms out there that care, that are still part of their sons' lives, even though they're grown and they're not supposed to be, because that really matters when it comes to men having support, because a lot of us don't have support when it comes to family, friends, emotional support. A lot of men are living in isolation. They have no one. When it comes to friends and family, it becomes a point where a man can become married and he just loses his friends. He loses a lot of his family members, especially if they move away, and you kind of inherit her family and her friends. And if she's a toxic person where her family is always on her side, it just makes things so unbearable, so awful. So shout out to the women out there that still love their sons, of course, as you should, but are very involved with their sons' lives, even though they're grown, because that matters in a very big way to men's wellness.